For my Excel project, I was inspired to make an analysis of the first 5 actuarial exams. Since I'm studying to be an actuary, and it will be eventually my future profession, I'm very curious about the historical data analysis for each of these exams. There are dozens of actuarial exams offered through the Society of Actuaries, but I only chose to work with the preliminary exams. In this presentation, I'm mostly interested in the passing rates per exam and the passing marks per exam per year. Hopefully, at the end of this presentation, I will know which one of these is the easiest to pass. But I also heard rumors that most people pass exams in spring, so I would like to see if that's true. This database contains a complete statistics per exam since 2009 to 2014. P exams stands for probability, MLC exam stands for models of life contingencies, MFE stands for models of financial economics, FM stands for financial mathematics, and C stands for construction of evaluation of actuarial models. That sounds very difficult, and it surely is, because only 49% of people on average actually pass these 5 exams. This database contains the information that I will be using for my pivot tables. I decided to make 4 of them. The first pivot table compares the passing rates versus the passing marks per exam. The second pivot table looked at the number of people who pass the exam and who attempt to pass the exam. Next pivot table looks at the passing rates per month. I'm trying actually to see which month is the best to take an exam, to find out if it's true that most people pass them in spring. The last pivot table is actually showing me the fastest percentiles, the fastest number of people who pass the preliminary exam and they get to associate level, the chartered enterprise risk analyst, or the fellow level. So the top 5 percentile of people get there in pass the preliminary exams in 1.08 years. But we can see that on average it takes about 3 years to be an associate, 6 years to be a fellow. The difference between an associate or the fellow or the chartered enterprise risk analyst is just different exam combination types that you have to take. Some of them include these 5 preliminaries, some have some additions. It just depends which path you choose. So these are the pivot charts I created from those pivot tables. And let's see that. Let's look at the first one. So I want to know, or I'm curious to know, which one out of the 5 exams in this table had the highest passing mark. And we can easily see that was the FM exam, which was 70%. But if I want to take a closer look only at the FM exam, I could see my data more clearly. The passing rate was 52% and the pass mark was 70%. If I want to see those rates for the P exam, you could see that the passing rate was 48% and the average passing mark was 65%. This chart tells you an average rates since 2009 to 2014. The second chart is more specific. It's comparing the number of people who actually pass the exams to the number of people who attempt to pass the exam. So let's see, I want to know in 2009 how many people passed the C exam. Not that many, that's for sure. 1,910 people passed the exam and 4,721 attempt to take the exam. But we could tell that the average pass rate for that exam is 48%. The average pass mark is 65%. So, the third chart I created is basically telling me if the rumors I heard are true. So, let's see if spring is the best time to pass exams. Let's look at January. In January, as we can see, 2014 was the best month to sit for exams in January. What about February? February seems to be better. When we compare all the months, we could see that it's not really true that most people pass them in spring. Seems like August is the best month for exams to pass. The last chart I created was from the pivot table testing. Actually, how long it takes for students to move from preliminary exams to associate to be a fellow or to be a chartered enterprise risk analyst. The fastest 5 percentile of people got their preliminary exams done in 1.08 years. They got to be a fellow in less than 4 years. Now let's compare that to the slowest number of people, which is the longest it took for them to complete the preliminary exams was almost 5.5 years, and the longer it took to be a fellow was 7.58 years. So, looking at my charts, we could actually get some useful information. I think it's a very good feature of Excel. Recommended charts is also a great idea, which helps you easily organize your data without making it too complicated, and it also gives us more ideas how to organize our data. So that's it. Thank you.